What's up, everybody? I'm back. Welcome to Discovering Nicole. That would be me, your girl, Nicole. And today, I've got a special treat for you guys. Today, we are going to be talking about meth addiction and sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. I don't want to get demonetized. They'll take my money if I sing the whole song. Anyway, yesterday on TikTok, I got to talking about this, and then we talked about it a little bit on a Facebook Live, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make a video about it because I know I'm not the only one who has struggled with this in early recovery. So, trigger warning, I'm gonna be talking about drugs, I'm gonna be talking about injecting methamphetamine, and I'm gonna be talking about having sex. So if those things, bother you, you might want to not watch this video. Let's get into it. So, I started using methamphetamine when I was 17 years old. I smoked it for the first time. I was hanging out with this guy named Marcus, and we were over at I don't even know the person's house, but we were over this house, and I remember smoking it for the first time, and the sensation I got was it felt like my hair was growing out of my scalp. Hold on, I gotta turn the fan on. I felt like my hair was growing out of my scalp, okay? I could feel the hair on my arms growing, and I could literally feel my pupils go bing, So, needless to say, it was hella fucking euphoric, and I really liked it from the get-go. So, it was something that, I used throughout my whole addiction. So, one thing about me is I'm a polysubstance user. I was addicted to multiple substances at the same time, and I used them interchangeably. Honey, I don't discriminate, okay? I like all drugs. I liked being fucked up. I liked the feeling of not being in my own body. I liked the feeling of being checked out of reality. If any of you guys have loved ones that are addicted and you're not an addict yourself, this is, a lot of the reasons why we like getting high is because we like to not feel, That's something that was super attractive to me when I started using and I could check out. I enjoyed that. Well, I didn't just start right off the bat having sex high on meth. That's not how it started. I went through 5 or 6 years of using meth and really not linking the two together. It wasn't until I injected methamphetamine that I linked the two together. And I'm going to tell you that story, and I'm telling you guys right now, fucking major trigger warning, okay? I was over at my friend Nate's house, and me and Nate and Tammy were all sexual with each other, okay? And so I was over there, and I had never shot up before. I was sitting in the front living room, and every time he would get done, cooking off a batch or whatever, we would all go do some. Everybody would go to the back room except for me and one other person, and we would stay in the living room and do hot rails. Well, I was like, why is everybody going in that other room? And when they come out, they look so much higher than me, right? Well, curiosity killed the cat. And I walked back there one day and I was like, what's going on? Why is everybody coming back here? And that's when I seen everyone sitting in their own little areas fixing up. They had their spoons out. They had their syringes out. Some people were tying off. And I was like, what the fuck, you guys? I want to try that. And they were like, no, Nicole, you don't need to do this. And I was like, no, if you don't do it for me, I'm going to figure out a way to do it myself. And then I'm going to end up hurting myself, right? And so what they did was they fixed me up a shot, okay? A 40-unit shot for my first time ever, okay? When I tell you guys, this shot was the color of syrup. It was like an amber color. And when you tilted the syringe, the little bubble in it went slowly back up to the top, meaning that shot was thick as fuck, okay? Tammy shot me up, and when I'm telling you 100% when that shot went into my vein, I had an orgasm. My underwear was completely wet. I'm just telling the truth, you guys. I have never been one to mince words. So if this offends you, this is not the channel for you, okay? Because I just shoot straight from the hip. it felt so fucking good. And we immediately all started having sex with each other. It was like a menage a trois. We all started getting fucking. And that is when I started to link sex and meth together. Okay. And it was something that I did like on a regular basis. It was something that I really enjoyed and like I looked forward to, right? All throughout my addiction. Any guy that I used meth with, 9 times out of 10, we were fucking, right? So when I met my husband, me and my husband were both shooting meth, and it was just like, it wasn't even a question, right? We were intimate with each other. And when I tell you guys, it would be like 3 or 4 times a day sometimes. It could be for hours. Because what would happen while we were high on meth is that we would like fixate on certain things, right? And just obsess over them. So he could be down there munching for like 3 hours. Who the fuck does that? When you're high on meth, you do. Okay, when you're high on meth, you do. We were putting our tongues in places that you didn't even know your tongue could go. Okay? Because we were just so high on meth and everything felt so good. When you would touch each other, it just felt like, when I tell you guys, I cannot explain it. It's just like euphoria all over your body. Okay? And so me and my husband were so sexual. It was all the time, constant. Now, this is what I really wanted to talk about. When we got sober, all that changed. First and foremost, we were both sober and we felt really insecure. When we got sober, I don't think we had sex for the first 2 years that we were sober. And I am not lying to you guys. Okay? The first year that we were sober, my son was in CPS custody, right? And we were both super depressed. I can remember going to bed at night after I got out of treatment. Me and Neil would go to bed at night and I would cry every single night because my little boy would sleep with us every night. He was always right in the middle of us. And I would cry every night, and so me and my husband struggled so much. But after that first year, I didn't really realize that we weren't having sex. It was the second year that I realized it. And I started to get so insecure. I felt like, is he not attracted to me anymore? Does he not love me? Does he not want to be with me? Right? I was so afraid that it was because he didn't want to be with me and he wasn't attracted to me, right? Well, I remember I finally got the balls to say something. And I was like, are you not attracted to me anymore? And you could see the relief in his eyes. He was like, I was going to ask you the same thing, but I was so afraid to ask you. He was like, Nicole, I love you so much. And I want to be intimate with you, but I didn't know how to say it. And I didn't want to make you feel bad if it was because you didn't want to. And just all these unknowns because we were not communicating with each other. Right? And so this is something new that we had broken into, right? When we met each other, we were high. Okay, so we were pretty much high through our whole relationship when we first got together. And so all this like sober years was new to us. I think we had maybe had like 25 days sober at the most when we first got together. And so I remember just feeling so relieved. And I was like, I want to have sex, Neil. I love you. I'm attracted to you, but I'm scared and I'm embarrassed and I think I'm fat and I'm afraid you won't like me. And please, can we keep the lights off? And I just had all these things that I needed to say. It just started coming out of my mouth like fucking vomit, right? And he was like, it's okay, it's okay. And I remember the first time that we had sex, I cried, dude. I cried because I felt so awkward. And I felt so disconnected from Neil. And I know he probably felt the same way. It was really, really hard to connect with each other again. Not in the fact that we didn't love each other, but like when you go 2 years without having sex with your fucking significant other, that's a big deal, But that's how hard it was for us to get the balls to communicate with each other. We were going through such huge transitions in our first year of sobriety that my main focus was like paying off my fines and fees, getting custody of my son back, making sure that we could afford rent, making sure that I had rides back and forth to work because I didn't have a car yet. Like all these other stressors were what was more important, and our relationship took the back burner. And for a lot of people, that would be the end of their relationship, you know? But our relationship stood the test of time, y'all. I'm telling you. Okay? And that's how you know. If you got somebody in your life who you guys get through something as hard as getting sober together, having your child taken away from you, if you guys can, not having sex for 2 years, if you guys can get through that, you can get through anything. But the main thing that I wanted to share with you guys and that I learned from this whole situation is communication. Your man ain't going to know how you feel if you don't say anything. And you can't expect for them to read your minds, like huffing and puffing, being upset, all this. They don't know. Let me explain something to you guys about guys. Guys, they're like dogs, y'all. They like to be fed. They like to be pet. They like to have sex, right? Like we really just, they're simple-minded compared to us women. And so we just have to really break things down for them and let them know, hey, baby, I love you. I need to get some. Or I love you. I want to spend time together. Let's go out to eat. Let's go see a movie. And I learned that hard lesson within all this, right? Do I miss like the crazy sex we used to have? Sometimes I do. But we're learning how to have our crazy sex sober now, you know, and we're learning new things about each other. This is like, it's almost like it's like dating somebody all over again. It's like relearning about that person, you know, relearning what they like. And also, because I'm sober now, there's certain things that I liked when I was high that I don't really like now that I'm sober. And same with my husband. I will tell you guys this. I can touch my husband and he is turned on. And so I know that I'm doing something right? I know that my hubby is attracted to me and that I'm attracted to him, you know? But I'm telling you what, the thing about sex and methamphetamine, it can really make you have like an unrealistic expectation of what your love life should be like, okay? Like the way I was on methamphetamine, that will never be again. Like that is, I was such a different person. I was so high out of my mind that everything that bothered me or I was insecure about was just like ripped and thrown to the side. Now I'm my true person. Now I'm really me. I have feelings. I get nervous. I get embarrassed, you know, and that's completely okay. And I communicate those things to my husband about what I feel like, what I like, what I get insecure about. And he helps me. He helps me to not be insecure about that by letting me know, hey, Nicole, I like that. I love you for that. I love that. I love the shape of your body. I love, you know, your boobs. I love this about you. And that's where me and my husband